learn how to solve the equation when there's a multiplication or a division problem in there. Biggest thing you have to remember, that when we divide a number by the same number, we get 1. So 2 divided by 2 gives us 1. 5 divided by 5 gives us 1. 150 divided by 150 gives us 1. In the reverse, if we multiply 1 by any number, we get that number. So 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 150 is 150. Okay? So when we do the multiplication and division solving equations, what we're trying to get to is the number 1 in front of the variable. Because that to us means the same as just the variable. Because 1 times any number is that number. So if you can remember that we're trying to get to 1 and the variable together, then you're going to be okay. So when you're doing this, and I kind of combined 2 lessons in one here because they want me to teach it to begin with just multiplication and division and how to go about doing that. But I know that you guys understand in the adding and subtracting part, so we're just going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone instead of 2 lectures over the same thing. So if there is an addition or a subtraction in the equation, that is our first step, is to do what we learned yesterday to get rid of that addition or subtraction. So in the example, we have 4 plus 5a equals 14, right? And we need to get rid of our 4. We need to take him away. So in order to do that, what do? Kelly, say it loud.
Subtract 14 from both sides.
14?
I mean 4.
4, right? Because 4 is a positive number, so we would subtract. And if we take 4 minus 4, we get 0. And if we take 14 minus 4, we get 10, which allows our equation now to be 5a equals 10. Is everyone good with that? Thumbs up, we all understand it, right? Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2 then is to do the opposite of multiplication or division. So if it is a multiplication, you'll see it as a number and a variable. If it's a division, you would see a variable divided by a number or vice versa. So what you're going to do is the opposite of how it's written. Dustin, what's your question? I already answered it. Okay, so the opposite mathematical step to 5a equals 10 is what? Okay, what is this mathematical step? What does 5a represent? Adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing? It represents multiplication, right? When we see 2 numbers sitting next to each other, we know we multiply them. Yes? We good there, Evan? We understand that's multiplication? Okay, so the opposite of multiplication is division, so we're going to divide by the same number, because if we take a number and divide it by a number, we get 1. Always 1. And remember what I told you to begin this, we want to find 1 and the letter, 1 and the variable. So 5 divided by 5 will give us 1a, which we can write as a, right? Because 1 times a number is that number. We also have to divide the other side, the 10, by 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2, right? Is everyone okay with this? Or following it? So then step 3, if we know that 5a divided by 5 is a, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. What is A? Kelly?
2.
A equals 2, right? So step 3, just like step 3 yesterday, is to check our answers by plugging it into the equation. If it is true, then we know we got it right. If it's false, we know we got it wrong and we have to redo it. So our equation was 4 plus 5a equals 14. So we plug in what for A? The number 2, right? Here's where it gets tricky. What is our order of operations? What do we do first? Caitlin. We do our multiplication first. So we have to take 5 times 2 and we get, what's 5 times 2?
10.
And then we add 4 and we get 14. So if we go back down here to our checking, 4 plus 5 times 2 equals 14. Is it true? Is it true? So we know we're correct. Okay. All right, here's a division one. Oh, if you don't have an addition or a subtraction, so this part isn't there, you would just go right ahead to step 2. So it becomes a 2-step problem versus a 3-step problem. Right? Everyone understands that? All right, so here's our division example. So, in this example, do we have to do step 1, Neosha? We have to do step 1? No, right? Why is it no, Max?
We're not doing addition and subtraction.
Correct, okay? So we're going to go to step 2. So Cameron, step 2, how should we write it?
4 plus.
We're on this division example here. And we're on step 2 in our steps. We're taking and doing the opposite of dividing. Multiply by what? Sam? Can you help? Okay, so we have to multiply by 2 on this side and multiply by 2 on this side. So here's what it looks like. N divided by 2 in parentheses times 2 equals 12 times 2. Notice we're multiplying by 2 on both sides. So when I take 2n and I divide it by 2, what do I get? What? 1 what?
N.
1n, isn't that what we're hoping for? Right? We want 1n. So 12 times 2 is? Sam, what's your question?
Why can't you just times 2 by 12?
You are timesing 2 by 12, but then if you don't do this step, you don't remove the 2 on this side. When you take this number and multiply it by 2, you get n. And then you multiply that by 2, you get 24. Do you understand what this step says? So you have to do, if you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other.
I know, but if you were times 2 by 12, you get 24 and 24 things.
No, because you haven't done anything to this side. Does that make sense what I'm saying, Sam?
Yeah.
You have n divided by 2, and all you're telling me to do is multiply 12 times 2. So really what you're saying is n divided by 2 equals 24. If you don't say multiply both sides by 2. Does that make sense? Does everyone understand that? So then step 3 is to plug our number back in, and this is our equation. So we're saying that n equals 24. 24 divided by 2 equals 12. Is it true or is it not true? It's true, right? So we know we got it correct. Is there any questions on it? None?